I love BMW. If the 5 cars in my fleet weren't proof enough, then let me tell you a quick story. After 6 years of endless scrolling through classifieds and searching on Facebook Marketplace, I found my dream car, a 2000 E38 V12 7 Series. And after a short 2,000-mile road trip from Rhode Island, I finally brought Stella home, and I was ecstatic. Since then, every project, every discontinued part, every late-night forum post has gone into bringing this car back to where it deserves to be. We've overhauled the ignition system, replaced every fluid and filter, fought and lost to a couple of rusty bolts, and reupholstered the headliner, not to make it perfect, but to make it mine. But after all that work, there comes a time where you have to stop wrenching and start driving.
There's something about driving an old BMW with too many cylinders.
And that's where Medina comes in, home of TexFest, a collection of E38 owners who wanted to meet each other and swap parts to keep their cars running, but more importantly, share their passion for one of BMW's greatest models. Now having a classic car of my own, I made it my mission to go for the first time, to tackle 500 miles of winding roads, hear classic Bavarian engines, partake in some shenanigans on the way.
As we all can see, there was one car this year that was incredibly nice and luxurious. That award goes to Donovan and the E38.
And meet some of the most genuine folks who share the same passion for madness. This is TexFest. Now, you join me just a few days before our trip, making sure that everything's ready to go, we have all of our spares, and Stella is in tip-top shape.
So a couple things we're going to check before the trip are our fluid levels. I want to make sure that oil, coolant, and our power steering fluid are topped up. I don't think I've had any leaks since doing the cooling system, but we're going to check that now. We're looking good. Basically where I left it off last time. Literally could add just a touch for a top up, but as a point of reference, we're looking at the bob, and it's right between the middle, so no need to top that off. Next, we're going to check our oil level. Right at the top where we need it to be. And then lastly, we have our power steering and SLS fluid. That's looking perfect. Now that fluids are all good, let's get the car cleaned up. All right, so now she's sitting nice and pretty. I did notice when cleaning the wheels, a couple of my center caps were starting to fade. The blue was starting to fade a little bit, and actually on that back wheel had almost completely gone away. So fortunately, I had some left over from the 1 Series where we did the floating center caps. So these ones were from her car. Let's swap the old and tired ones out. Now that that's looking much better, let's check the tire pressure and double check the wheel lug torque.
As with all good road trips, you have to prepare for the worst. I always bring with me a tire compressor, tire plug kit, battery jump pack, and jumper cables. It's also good to have some fluids to top off, so bring any spare oil, coolant, power steering fluid, transmission fluid, bourbon. Wait, how does that keep getting in here? Seeing as the chance of breaking down is also high, it wouldn't hurt to have some tools like sockets, ratchets, and electric tools. Alongside all of that, some flashlights and my jack were also packed. All right, so now you join us on day one of TexFest, and we are loading up the car. As you can see behind me, we have nothing but the essentials, just some extra spares like you had seen. So I wanted to start this journey off a little Auto Alex style, old school car throttle, and talking about the trials and tribulations of getting our car ready for this big, magnificent trip that we're going on. So as mentioned, we're going to TexFest, which is out in Medina. I'm located in Austin. This whole trip should be around 515 miles is what I've estimated so far. So taking some time to reflect and talk about how we got to this point and how we got Stella ready for this trip. Part one was buying the car. Over 2 years ago in August 2023, I picked this beautiful baby up in Rhode Island, drove it all the way down to Texas for about 4 days after breaking down because of the SLS lines. From that point, part one was just a general overlook of the car, doing a basic oil change and just making sure the car was semi-healthy. From that point, we serviced the ignition, we did the distributor caps, the rotors, the wires, the spark plugs, and through all the pain of breaking a bolt, breaking the ignition boots, putting the wires on the other side, the car drove phenomenally. The misfires went away and the car has been smooth ever since. We've done fuel filter, we've done engine air filter, obviously cabin air filter. I mean, those things were disgusting. No one ever does the ones underneath the dash. Those are called recirculation filters, and those things were disgusting. After that, we just finished the headliner in Alcantara. Makes the car look like an absolute cigar lounge, and it's one of, if not my favorite mods that you can do to a car that really keeps it very OEM plus. Lastly, as you just saw with this car, we worked on the transmission, or rather the transmission worked us. Unfortunately, that rusty bolt kind of got away from me, and now we run a 22 bolt instead of a 23 bolt pan. In any case, this is a long time coming, regardless of if it was with Stella or not. TexFest is just a great event to meet like-minded classic BMW enthusiasts. Even if I didn't have a car, I would still love to go, but having one of my own, having one that I've wrenched on and really done a lot of the hard work, it makes it a lot more sweet, a lot more rewarding. So with that, there's nothing left other than to get some gas and hit the road. So let's go. With Stella packed to the brim and ready to go, we had to make one stop before getting gas. All right, we're on our way to grab the shirts. I have no idea what the range is on here, but really excited. What we think? Picking up the first piece of channel merch. Buy yours now. Only $9.99.99. Okay, so we just topped off, brimmed the tank with about half actually. The tank has 24 gallons. We filled up with 15. Usually if I do highway, I can get 500 miles on one tank. But with the spirited driving, I'm guessing we're probably gonna be closer to 350 to 400. So, side challenge for this trip is to try to do it in one tank. But if we can't, that's fine. The purpose is to have fun. 44.91, 15 gallons in the tank, or 24 now total. With that, time to get to Medina, so see you guys there. After a surprisingly inexpensive fill-up and grabbing the new shirts, we got back on the road to start our journey. From Austin, the lodge is about 2 hours away, but with around 500 pounds of luggage and AC that barely cools, we had a long road trip ahead of us. All right, so we just crossed the 50-mile mark into our trip to Medina. We have 69 miles to go, and so far the trip has been going really, really well. It's a beautiful day, beautiful weather out, beautiful drive. It definitely is a lot better than the last time I came out here, because 2 years ago it was hitting 100 degrees every single day, and that caused the transmission limp mode that I had the last time going on this road. So I'm not trying to jinx anything, but so far all the jobs that we've done have really held up. Everything seems to be going super smoothly, and it's been a great drive so far. So hoping to see some fun landmarks on the way, and yeah, basically hour and a half to Medina. After about an hour of driving, we stopped for a quick break at a gas station, and before hitting the road, had to get a couple of good shots of Stella under the Texas sun. So we just entered the city of Center Point. We just crossed over the 100-mile mark, so we've got 20 miles to go. Doing good on gas so far, 21 miles per gallon, 410 miles of range. Trip's been going good again. A lot more dead animals, a lot more trucks wanting to drive fast, and a lot of curvy roads. But it's been really fun, and I'm really excited to see what Medina has to offer for us. Back to the B-roll. Now, with over half the trip under our belts and Stella happily eating up the miles, it felt like a good time to stop and take a breath of fresh air and appreciate the local scenery. With 15 miles to go and Medina within earshot, disaster struck. My tummy was hungry. After a well-deserved snack, even though I was satiated, Stella wanted more, and the roads of Medina had a lot more to chew.
All right, so we finally got here to Medina at Texas Hill Country Resort. Here is our beautiful view cabin. It's absolutely gorgeous out here. Starting to get a little bit hot. AC was starting to die on us a little bit, but we're gonna get situated here, get ourselves unloaded. As you can see, there's a ton in the trunk. So other than that, the drive was phenomenal. The roads out here are gorgeous, besides a bunch of bumps, but Stella handled the drive fantastically. Everything we've done has just made it so much better. So excited to meet some cool BMW people and look at some cool BMW cars. So we will catch you guys at the rec center.
Just a short walk from our lodge and we found the rec center. Bustling with all the event goers, I felt like a kid in a candy shop. Even though the event is centered around E38s, there were tons of other cool rides around. To name a few, there was a V12 manual Aston Martin, Porsche Cayman, a very scary turbo-swapped E34 wagon, some E39 wagons and an M5, a couple of E23 7 Series, and even a Honda K-swapped E30 M3. As night fell and it got too dark to record, I could no longer hide behind my camera and be the new kid who didn't know anyone. It was at this point where Sean and Melissa had come over to introduce themselves and say hello to the group for me. My stomach was rumbling again, and I decided it was time for sausages and swapping stories with some newfound friends.
So we just finished day one here in Medina for TexFest, and I just have to say the people here are phenomenal. I think it was some of the best times I've had in a car meet, a car event gathering like this, and to meet people that have been organizing an event like this for over 15 years. It's amazing. I mean, these are some of the most genuine people you've ever met, enthusiasts, both casual and hardcore alike. I mean, it's just such a fun event, and to be in a place out here in hill country, it's gorgeous. I mean, the sights, the sounds, the smells, being able to look up in the sky and actually see stars and not light pollution. I mean, it's something different. And I'm so glad to actually be out here, to be able to enjoy it, to be able to have fun out here. So other than that, as you had seen earlier, we made shirts. That's something that I wanted to bring up. We've built a Patreon, we've built some merchandise. That's some stuff that I've been working on in the background. Patreon is already live, and you've probably seen it in my description down below in previous videos. But if you haven't already, go check out our Patreon page. You've probably seen it a million times at this point. AdSense on YouTube is just not what it used to be. And in order for channels to grow both monetarily and sustainably, finances have to come into play here. And so in order for me to grow and do bigger things, keep growing the shop and of course the fleet, and do things like this, having a Patreon is going to help. Selling merchandise is going to help. But at the end of the day, those channels are there to allow other people who may want to support the channel in different ways and provide them that outlet. This is solely if you want to support the channel. All the proceeds are going to the channel to grow it, buy new cars, and restore them to the standards that I have, right? So if that's something that you want to be a part of, if that's a mission that you align yourself with, go check out our Patreon link. I post there weekly for both paid and free members. So, you know, whether it be polls, asking about upcoming content, early releases, stuff like that, all that is there and more. And if you want to get a t-shirt, or in another fashion, if maybe you just want to support the channel by buying a piece of merch, that way you have something physical to show for your support. That will be coming out soon, so you'll definitely be seeing a link and a launch page.
And with that, day one of TexFest comes to a close. As my voice became hoarse and eyes drooped, I knew it was time to hit the hay. No pun intended. A good night's rest is needed for the best part of the trip, the Twisted Sisters. But that you'll have to wait for on the next episode. Waking up to a cool, crisp morning in Medina, and after enjoying some morning sounds outside our cabin, we head out east to start day 2 of TexFest. We can't have another disaster like yesterday happen, so to avoid catastrophe, a good breakfast was in order. A quick 45-minute drive from the cabins to Utopia should do the trick.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to day 2 of TexFest. You join us on our way to Utopia, where we're gonna go eat with the TexFesters. We're going to Lost Maples Cafe. We've got a very fun drive ahead of us. We're taking the Twisted Sisters. It's a very popular motorcycle route and it's very scenic. There's tons of stops along the way and it should be a good drive. So far, consumption's been good. We're at 19.2. The weather is very lovely. We have our heated seats on. It's a crisp 68 degrees and couldn't ask for any better weather. So we will join you at the cafe.
Once downtown in Utopia, we arrived to what felt like a cars and coffee for BMW lovers. We met up with Sean, Sherman, Wyatt, Mike, and a few of the other folks to a lovely breakfast at the Lost Maples Cafe to share a few more stories and plan out our trip for the day. After our lovely breakfast, some more ownership woes with the E38 guys, we were ready to tackle the Twisted Sisters. So, with bellies full, we headed northwest to the first stop, Leaky, Texas.
Yeah, if I was out here, dude, and I had a British accent, I'd be undefeated.
Driving the BMWs heavy series feels like it's ahead of curvy roads.
Poor impressions and aspirations aside, and 25 miles later, my girlfriend found the perfect place to stop and grab a quick drink before the drive. We found ourselves at Gypsy Sally's. What feels like an old school dive bar has surprisingly only been in Leaky for 4 years, but that doesn't stop it from being a town favorite and a memorable spot to start your journey. A tall glass of horchata later, and it was time to hit the curvy roads.
All right, so we just got to Leaky. We took a quick stop at Gypsy Sally's. We're gonna do a checkup on the car real quick. Make sure all of our fluids are good. Looking for is I want to double check my power steering fluid, which we're good on. So far, she's holding up nice. So now that we've taken our quick break, we're gonna hit the Twisted Sisters.
Twisted Sisters is a 100-mile loop that is without a doubt among the best, most challenging motorcycle roads in the state. The route follows canyons and climbs jagged, steep hills. The road offers many tight, twisty curves with sheer drop-offs alongside and not much in the way of guardrails. Beginners are cautioned to focus on the road even when a panoramic vista pops up along the way. Ride Texas also says to not forget to top off the gas tank before heading out. Now, I had only heard of the Twisted Sisters route within the last couple of years by a few friends who are bikers and like to come out every few years to drive it.
So we just went through the first Twisted Sister and I guess we're on the second one now. So just passed through Camp Wood. Behind me is this beautiful scenery. We've got the Nueces River right next to us. And I mean, the drive has been absolutely phenomenal. The roads are a little bumpy and a little gravelly, but I mean, aside from some pretty weak AC, I mean, it's been a pretty fun ride. So now that we're about halfway through, we're gonna take a quick stop here and enjoy the scenery and we'll catch you guys back on the road.
Having driven half the loop so far, with all the scenic views of the hill country in fall colors, it's no doubt the road has earned its name. With its steep hills, tight curves, long sweeping roads, massive elevation changes, I can see why people keep coming back. There's always a new challenge and a sight to see along the way. While not in its natural habitat, the E38 felt like it was at home, and was holding up beautifully. With the car in its sportiest settings, we were truly putting all our hard work to the test. The transmission cooler was hard at work, and the usually well-mannered V12 wasn't missing a beat. As I saw my MPGs quickly falling, happily though, as our smiles were getting wider by the mile, and Stella was finally able to enjoy some winding roads. It truly felt like a man meets machine coming together after years of late night wrench fests and busted knuckles. Taking a short break before the third leg to stretch, a couple of bikers who had been tailing us stopped as well. One of the guys came up and mentioned how much he loved the car and that he works as a technician at a dealership in Houston, and it was always a fun day when these cars rolled through. Complete strangers, we connected through passions and bonded through experiences, and it's moments like these that make entire journeys worth it. Plus, it boosted my ego a little. Going through the last leg of the route, we were fortunate enough to have some more riders join us, or more accurately, pass us by. But it was at this point where I reflected back to what I mentioned at the start of this trip. Just like cars, motorcycles are more enjoyable with your peers. All the wrenching and toying with the cars in the garage does you no good if you can't take the car out and enjoy a beautiful drive, just like today. And better yet, with a group of folks, friendly or strangers. And I think the E38 guys have a great saying about this. It's not the miles that make the memories, but it's the stops that you take along the way. As we were finishing our loop, beginning back in Leaky where we started, 4 hours of driving later and Gypsy Sally was calling our name. It was time for another quick stop for some grub. Alright, so we just finished eating at Gypsy Sally's and my god, that was so good. Now having finished the Twisted Sisters, it was very, very fun. I mean, there were parts of it that were kind of bland. The top portion when you're crossing over, kind of boring. I mean, it's just a straight highway. The last stretch was the smoothest, which I thought was kind of interesting. But overall, I mean, as a driving road, I would put that high up there. There are some very short and tight turns, but for the most part, it's long, winding, and lots of slopes and grades. So if you want to go more for a cruise rather than carving up the canyons, I'd give that a solid 9 out of 10. I mean, the only thing that would make it better is if it was smoother. So I'm gonna finish up this Coke and head out of here. See you guys on the road. Now, with 100 miles and the Twisted Sisters under our belt, we set course back to Medina for the last leg. But not before a local trinket store caught our eye that just so happened to have a couple cats sitting outside. Mile by mile, hour after hour, with full bellies and a much emptier tank, I began replaying the drive in my head. Having done road trips across the country, visiting Germany earlier this year and driving on the Autobahn, today was completely different because it was the culmination of years of searching, late nights, and dozens of hours getting Stella back to shape. I couldn't help but smile as she was barely breaking a sweat, and it's too bad I couldn't say the same for us with how weak the AC was. But that's a problem for another day. After a full day worth of driving, we found ourselves back at the lodge, just in time for dinner and R&R at the rec center. With Stella covered in road grime and bug guts, we needed to get her back to pristine in time for the Clowncourse judging and window races tomorrow. But that, my dear audience, will have to wait for the next time. Rolling into day 3, Stella was looking a little tired and dirty after yesterday's drive, which won't do for the car judging. So bright and early, we start with a quick wash. Now with Stella looking factory fresh, it was time to head to the winery for some serious shenanigans. Alright, so welcome back to day 3 of TexFest. We are now on our way to the vineyard. This is where most of the event happens. We're going to be doing a Clowncourse judging, where they're going to judge everyone's cars. We're doing a window regulator race to see whose is the fastest. We've got this really cool convoy ahead of us, so I'm excited to see the venue. I think it's going to be a really cool collection and see everyone's cars actually out in the sun when we can see everything, because the past 2 nights it's just been dark and I couldn't see anything. I'm looking at people's cars with my flashlight. So yeah, we're about to hit the road and we'll see you guys at the vineyard. As we were rolling through Kerrville, you could see people stopping and staring at the convoy. It felt like one of those moments where you think, man, I want to know where they're going. After a few lights, we got split up, and now traveling alone, the world felt a little bleaker without the group. However, it wasn't long before we were reunited with all the TexFest crew at the winery. As we pulled in, we were immediately thrown into the crucible of competition. It was time for window regulator racing, and Stella and I were first on the block.
2, 1, go!
Yeah, so we had to, bring our best game out here. I had to make sure mentally we were in the right place. Physically, mentally, spiritually, we were at top of our game. Now, the competition's looking pretty good, pretty strong out here, so we've got a few that I'm a little scared of, but Stella, she hasn't let me down yet, so she's gonna do good, and hopefully we make it to the top here today.
With a quick and decisive blow in the first round, Stella proved she was just as fast as the other cars. Maybe for just the windows, though. With the competition quickly stacking and fierce rivalries beginning to form, we watched with close eyes.
3, 2, 1, go! Oh man, Daniel's killing it!
Match after match, the field got smaller.
I'm gonna get out of here!
You could see some standout competitors, like the manual windows, or dirty crankers, as people were calling them, were dominating the field and knocking cars out left and right. No one was safe. People had to get crafty. We had jump packs on terminals, using their sunroofs as their window of choice, and someone even brought a custom fabricated drill attachment to the hand crank that failed due to the low torque settings.
You have the clutch on!
However, if one thing was clear, all this BMW on BMW violence had to stop. And that's when we banded together to beat the odd man out, the Porsche 944.
Come on, Travis!
Go, Travis! Go, go, go!
Oh!
Get back in your Porsche and get it out of here!
With the major loss to the Porsche and BMW cementing it as the better brand, it was time for Stella and I to step back into the ring for round 2.
Ready, set, go! And Donovan's got a spring on. Auto.
Oh, go Isaac! Go Isaac! Oh no!
Up!
Woo! I don't know.
Let's run it back up. Come on over, Joey.
I don't
Close
know.
that. Put that window up. Let's run it again. Ready, set, go!
Oh, Isaac's got him! Isaac!
After a very controversial loss, Stella and I bowed our heads and we took to the loser's pit. Luckily for me though, there were some pretty cool BMWs here, so who's really the winner in the end? With the board all but cleared, we had one more important race, the Z3 Power
all
Tops.
the way down, Evan. And then when it comes up, we got to clip her in. They're going to have their eyes on you, right? If you try to cheat it, you're out of here, got it? It's just a single seat out. All the money's on the line. Ready, set, go!
Oh, open!
Oh, you got to double pump it.
Now with the score settled, we had some time to enjoy the gorgeous car show behind us. The beauty of events with communities like TexFest is that it didn't take long to find out there were actually quite a few past and present owners of E38s. So we had a great time sharing our woes and trials of ownership in these Bavarian boats. With the power of my charisma, or more accurately a really nice car, it didn't take long to make some new friends. As the day got hotter, we went inside to enjoy a few drinks and banter with fellow E38ers, and not long after, it was time to head back, this time with a different group of friends. Hood latch fixed, disaster avoided. Back on the road. After a quick dip in the hot tub and some sausages later, it was time for the closing
I'm
ceremony.
excited that Joel here, that Joel made it. There's been a lot of hiccups along the way, but that doesn't matter because we're a community, and that's all that matters. And a community like ours is brought together thanks to our sponsors. So I want to say first and foremost, thank you to those that have made our shirts possible. And over the years, the shirts have been sponsored by our sponsors and made it free. The vision behind the event is that we don't have an entry fee. There's no growing this to be a 500 car people thing. It's meant to be for us to get together. A lot of people always ask me, what is this all about, right? And it's about for us getting together, hanging out, having a good time, and the cars are just an excuse, you know? And some of us have known each other for over 15, 16 years. TexFest was created in 2009 as a get-together on the weekend. Then it grew out to a weekend event. Then it grew out to be a 10-year stretch. That then became a 3 nights thing, starting Thursday all the way to Sunday. A lot of you have sacrificed work, family time to be here, so thank you for that. And that doesn't go without a vision, right? And the vision is that we are one. It's all about getting together, sorting things out, and creating friendships that last forever, you know? I've met my best friends at this event. I came in 2012, but it didn't happen without one person or a couple. Again, that was Sherman and Jack.
Sherman.
Right? You always have to give due where it's due, right? And Sherman started this event for one reason only, right? That was for us to gather, for those of us that can make the big events on the West and East Coast, and just come here in Texas, get together, have fun, be safe, and enjoy each other's company. I'm glad that we all can make it now, and we continue to gather over the years.
So, the way we've done the awards this year is we've got a whole little gambit of it. As Ryan said, we've got the esteemed judges have walked around all weekend and kind of looked at the cars and judged the cars that were signed up. And what we've got is we have these custom little medallions. Custom little medallions that have the award, right? That we personally designed. It was not ChatGPT. When you signed in to TexFest, part of the fine print was that if you are awarded this tonight, you have to wear it for the remainder of the evening, or you're not invited back. We've also noticed some very specific things that we wanted to address and acknowledge. So for that, we've got some cool little write-in awards, and if you were here last year, you know this is how we did it last year. So we're going to keep going with this trend going forward, but it's a great way to acknowledge small one-off things we see here and there. And for the really big stuff, like the window race today, we've got some little tiny little trophies that we're going to be giving out, but this is the highest odometer. And the first place contender for the crank window, which we were calling the dirty crankers out there, right? To acknowledge a special participant, which is Matt. So if you were watching, the 2002 was just destroying the competition, right? He had all the enthusiasm, he was working his ass off for that. And every single car that he beat, his ego got bigger and bigger. He was walking around like a barrel pressure. And then the E38 guys, we can't let the non-E28 win. So, we got our black car. So, Matt, great enthusiasm. The next personal award we have is, the reason that we're all here is because we're all Beamer guys. The reason that we're Beamer guys is probably because it's one of the only old cars that we can have this many people bring together that are still on the road after 40 years, right? However, throughout the year, some people bring their daily drivers because their Beamers go down or something. But some people always got to bring their non-Beamers. I don't know what it's about, if it's to show off or something. It needs to be special. I don't know, but this year we wanted to acknowledge a participant who's almost constantly bringing his non-BMW, and that award goes to Zach in the 9-4. Moving on to our hard metal awards. The very first one we got is a sit back and relax, most luxurious metal, right? So everybody here's got a lot of nice cars, right? But like, speaking for myself, the E38 is kind of like a raggedy bucket of bolts once you get on the road. That thing sucks, right? However, as we all can see, there was one car this year that was incredibly nice and luxurious. And that award goes to Donovan and the E38.
Dude, absolutely. See them all take seconds in your life, see the advertisement, most interesting man in the world? Yes. So, in this case, we have the most interesting car in the world. And luckily this weekend, we're able to see the MK Motorsports E28, or most of an MK Motorsports E28. So, Chris, come on up. Yeah. And for those that do not know, there's Albina, Hardcut, AC Schnitzer, and the rarest is MK Motorsports. I don't think you'll ever have a chance to see a valve cover like that in person in your life. So put your hand on it for me. You already saw who won the window race, but we have a special award for the slowest window race. This is a Clowncourse Tortoise Cup. Has all the fun facts about it. Someone may have tried to use their key on the run up, and it did not work out, and it was probably one of the slowest runs. Blake, come on.
Blake.
All right. So the last one we have is the highest odometer. As of right now, the highest that we know of is 311,000 miles. Is there anyone whose number is higher than that, we will verify. So anyone's number who's higher than that?
Over 311,000 miles. Does anyone willing to say that they have a higher number? Here, on the property.
Yes, I drove here. Not trailer, drove here.
Going once? Going twice?
Yeah, boy, you gotta come back up.
It is a special year for me, as I said in the beginning. I had the privilege to take the Sherman, who started the event in 09. We spent many miles in between 09 to 2018. And then I had the heavy mental and the great privilege to take over the event since 2019. So it's been 7 events. And it's not a bittersweet. I'm not going away. We're not going away with my wife. We're going to be here. We're just going to sit back and relax. We're going to sit with you and have fun. But we have decided one of the best hosts that can take over this. I know we talked about it last year. You guys knew about it. But there's no better host that's local to us here, that knows the area. If you've been their guests, you know they can take care of you very well. And no different than Sean and Melissa Lang.
So these are really big boots to fill. Sherman started this. Melissa and I moved to Austin in 2014. And I think the one good thing that Facebook ever did for me was give me a little pop-up that said, hey, maybe you'd be interested in this group. And I clicked it, and then I found these guys.
Yeah, all of them.
In 2014, we went down to Kerrville, YOLO. We stayed at YOLO. We had like ridiculous. But I met Bart, I met Lewis, Wyatt.
Come on.
Yeah, just amazing group of people. So what we want is for everybody to keep coming out, tell your friends, but you can invite your friends, bring more people along. Like let's grow this. Pablo has made such a great place to love, along with Sherman. These guys have done this is amazing. So let's keep it going. Yeah. So they ran the whole thing at the winery today. So let's give them a big hand.
As Sherman says, drive that bitch.
As our time in the Texas Hill Country comes to an end, I couldn't have asked for a better weekend. After years of wrenching, fixing, and dreaming about this car, it all culminated at TexFest, and it felt so surreal. Like the whole journey cemented my love and passion for cars. From the long drive through the Twisted Sisters to meeting so many incredible enthusiasts, this trip truly reminded me of what this community is all about. It's more than just cars. It's the shared stories, the roadside repairs,
Tom had a problem with an alternator.
the late night laughs in the parking lot, and the people who make you feel like you've known them forever. I'll remember the sounds of the motorcycles ripping through the Twisted Sisters, the smell of the campfires while sharing stories, and the rows of classic BMWs lined up under the Texas sun. But more than anything, I'll remember the people, because that's what makes events like TexFest truly special.
And it's about us getting together, hanging out, having a good time, and the cars are just an excuse.
And while we couldn't make it back in one tank, I'm grateful for the way everything happened. This trip truly was one for the books, and I'll be thinking about it every time I turn the key. And that, my dear friends, is why I love BMWs.